All right, welcome to the Saturday webinar. Keyboard check. I don't know what that means. Anyway, all right. So let me know if there's any issues with technicals. Hope you guys all see and hear me. Looks like a few people can. All right. So welcome to the Saturday webinar. So as usual, we'll go through Bitcoin, Ether, Bitcoin, Basis, GBTC, and then I'll start hitting request. Don't have too many today, but so we'll get through. If you, again, housekeeping, please, if you want to add to the request, it's yesterday at 10:50 Eastern time. I posted the request thread. If you can avoid putting it in this question box, that'd be really helpful. It's, again, really hard to navigate this question box with requests sitting in there. So, all right, so Bitcoin, let's do a zoom out here real quick. Again, my hope is, and my thesis is that we are in the wave 4 off of the December low. It counts quite perfectly in terms of the way I count all of the subwaves. What only question is we're dealing with a hyperextended count. We're well past the 200 extension, which is usually 200 extension is somewhere down here, down in this little mini 4 of 3, and that is usually where our fifth wave tops. So we're not even close to a fifth wave top when we count waves out, and so hopefully this is our fourth. I want to remind everyone that we really want to get that fourth and fifth so that we don't have a B wave top. A B wave top will give me a target of 1,600 Bitcoin. However, given that we have a high X wave on this after this third, I don't actually. I was just thinking about through my Elliott wave analysis theory and rules, and I don't think you can actually get a B wave top in this manner. I can't think of any way you can do that. So that is pretty much impossible. If this really is only fourth of a C wave and we get a fifth wave and a C wave, and then I can't really count it that way. That would mean this one is an A, but it's really hyperextended C versus A in that situation. So honestly, with all highest probability view, we are in a new bull market. But let's let it get the fifth before we kind of run ahead. I am running ahead a little bit. So awesome. We can expect a lot great return to come. And because we're not even to the breakout level, we have a lot more to go in terms of return. So that's good news. Again, we'll watch for something else to break, but I just can't take a bearish perspective now at this point in time. All right, so we look at this action here, and I'm considering, again, high X wave. We should have our Y wave in progress, A, B, and C. A, B, and C with an A and B for A. The question right now on my mind is whether we see a more complex B wave here. And the reason I'm suspecting it is we have looks like a little triangle here. So that would mean A, B, C for A, this circle red A, triangle out sideways. And honestly, it could be almost done. So we could see a pop this afternoon. Let's do a quick little target on that. I'm not sold on this yet, but if I start seeing an impulse form here, I'm going to be looking higher out of this resistance box. But because we have a triangle here, it's corrective. So that could bring us up to 8,600 pretty comfortably, even 8,900. 8,900 would be quite high because the previous B is here. So I would be looking at 8,600 sorry. 8,650 is what I'd be looking at a minimum if this red C wave plays out, and that would be off of this little triangle we have here. I'm not completely sold on that. We'll see. It's always potential, since this triangle is tiny, that we have one triangle and then a C wave, and that would potentially start a leading diagonal lower, or could be a low B. So I'm not completely sold on it. There's different ways a triangle could play out there, given the structure we have. But don't be terribly surprised by a rally this afternoon. We'll see how it goes. Technicals don't look bad, although the MACD continues to drift lower on this hourly. So it's sort of a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm not sold on either direction right now, except I'm sold on the fact that we're in this larger wave 4. And again, it can stop at 60. Is that 67? Let me see. It can certainly stop at 67, 66. An ideal Fibonacci pinball would get us down to 59.20. Again, I am going to be just watching for an impulse to show and be aggressive on an impulse and then have a stop below the turning point. So, or just at the turning point. So, right now I don't see any signs of any sort of impulse upward, and am looking down, but we'll watch for otherwise. All right. Real quick on thing on internals, just want to point out. We just broke the triangle. I got the Saturday gap, so we just broke down the triangle. So that's not going to be in play. That's not a triangle anymore. All right. So never mind that. Scratch that. We might be heading down. All right. Let's see. Where are my internals? Yeah, here we go. One thing again I want to point out is that it's my thesis that we'll see eventually RSI hop down to the 30 level on the daily. That is often the way corrections line up on the daily during a bull market. Somewhere down in there, so 40 to 30, we should see RSI come down there. That could be a great buying opportunity. So that's something I'm looking for. Eternals on the weekly aren't even scratched. I mean, we've got a little loop down, but MACD is still running hot. So there's really nothing terribly bearish about any of this market at all, except that we're in a correction. Let's see. Let's look at 2 hour. Get out of Renko. See if I see anything on the internals. I haven't looked at the 2 hour. 2 hour internals tend to be really important. Bottoming out here on the Bresserts, but this MACD doesn't look good. So we'll have to see the MACD turn right back up to signal that this Bressert matters. It's one of the confirming factors I have in the Bresserts. It's nice that the previous low was back here on the 2 hour, so it's in sequence. But then we got to see MACD push up. You can see a lot of the volumes right in the zone. Look at that. Check this out. All of the volume is in the zone. You can see it in the volume profile. So we're actually in a heady part in terms of resistance from a supply and demand perspective. So I can see this ignoring this Bresserts and coming down. In fact, Bresserts isn't bottomed yet. It's just still swinging down. And MACD is just getting weak now. So I wouldn't be playing that Bresserts low right now at this point in time. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that right now until we get some more confirmation of price action here. But I'm already seeing that triangle broke. So looks like we're going to probably be lower today. Question is, will they hold another B here and get a C wave up? It still is in play until we break this low at 74.51. But right now I'm leaning short or leaning down. I don't have a position on the short side except for hedge. Okay, so that's that, and then I want to be really clear on this diagonal and Ether. I'm really only drawing this diagonal because it's a very typical historic method by which Ether would bottom, where we often see WXY in Bitcoin. We'd often see the diagonal in Ether. It hasn't confirmed that that's really the right perspective. But if it is, this third wave targets roughly the 1236 to 382 extension. So that's in this 215 to 208 zone. So we can draw a box there and see if we drop there. That's what I'm looking at right now. And then I'm also watching for a WXY in here. We've seen a lot more WXYs in Ether, where Bitcoin, almost every single correction is a WXY, it seems, on almost all time frames. In Ether, we get some leaning towards diagonal, but it's changed a lot in the last year. We've seen quite a bit of WXY corrections. So, all right. So looking down overall on that, and we'll just see otherwise for something else. Ether, Bitcoin. Someone asked. This was a request, and classically I've just always held this. I'm going to cover the request now because I've classically had this as part of just the beginning of this webinar. And, so the request here is, I appreciate a little analysis regarding ETH BTC. What I want to say is this chart is acting very low probability. And so that's why I've dodged it on the nightly reports, because if I can't give you a clear view, I might as well keep my mouth quiet, right? I mean, it's pointless to give analysis when your point of view may be low probability, and it just doesn't help anybody, because people will start to think that your point of view is good analysis and like as if all the analysis I give is good. Well, I can't say that at all, because I don't get everything right. And when I think I have a low probability view on something, I don't really want to speak too much. And that's really been my perspective on Ether, Bitcoin. The big deal is that this one really broke my long-term count recently and hasn't given me, when I don't have a good long-term count, it's hard to work in the short term. But I do kind of like, if we don't want to take this lower B wave, I kind of like that maybe this B wave ended in a triangle here. Again, I like it, but I'm not sold on it. So we'll see. And then if so, then we should start to see this pair break out. But until I see a really clear impulse, at least over the D wave, I can't really strongly lean on this count. So we'll see. And I just looked at this count yesterday. I was looking at it, it kind of looks like a triangle, but it hasn't confirmed that again with an impulse over the D wave. Further, I don't think I've been expecting the C wave higher, and I'm not getting any action of that short term here. Certainly, this looks like 5 waves. Certainly, this looks corrective, but it may go lower, before it goes higher. So I don't have anything. This is sort of amorphous action here. We can do things like, draw a support level. And in that regard, we have support all the way down to 0.026. So for this C wave higher. So, I can draw this as potential. And it's certainly possible that this 5 waves up is part of a larger impulse. And I can draw what that. So here's, let's see, let's do some expanding fib. So if we see an impulse here, it should project up to 0.05. So that'd be a nice run where a C wave should be limited by 0.042. So I don't know which way it's going to take right now at this point in time, given the amorphous nature of this chart right now. So that's about as much analysis as I can offer, and I don't think that any of my point of view is high probability, which is why I dodged the question, so to speak. Not trying to. It just, again, I'm going to keep my mouth shut when I don't have a really strong view, so no one gets confused. So, all right. So I hope that helps. GBTC, I think we've gotten this one pinned for a long time. Been really nice. I mean, we are like Bitcoin, kind of getting lined up for that 4th wave lower and that 5th wave to signal the new bull market. We also have the high B wave on this chart, so that's a good sign that we get that 5th wave. Again, when you get high B waves, high X waves, you expect the trend to continue. I have yet to see a chart that does that fail. I can think of, maybe I can find one. And we should get a B wave, but this resistance 1163, something else might be playing out, but I don't have any reason to expect. Otherwise, it looks like our A wave bottomed. We passed over the last swing high, so we should get a little tap of the B wave. We don't have to get all the way up into B wave. Just remember, B waves are a little bit squirrely, and I don't have a subwave breakdown, so it's good to potentially, if we're a little bit higher on Monday, take some profit personally. If you don't have to take profit, but you have to just count your numbers here. 767, and we're up at 10. Do you want to make sure you capture that 10 before you see a 7? Do you want to take partial off? I mean, how you play that in strategy is really up to you. I don't want to suggest. I want people to learn how to be real conscious about the numbers and go, okay, well, how much do I have at risk? And that's really producing a good trade plan is just being conscious about support and resistance and deciding where you want to take profit and risk some. So, all right, so that's GBTC, Bitcoin, the state of affairs. We're all in wave 4. Ether, do we take the diagonal lower or are we in XY? Ether, Bitcoin, maybe that triangle plays out and you start to clarify the long-term count, but I'm not going to have any strong micro view until that long-term count is clear. That's just the way it works in Elliott wave. So we'll see how that works out. Any questions at this point? Audio is choppy. Is that true of everybody? So someone's saying the audio is choppy here. I have my microphone aimed at me. Let's see. Let me see if I've got the right microphone on. Yeah, it's got the wrong microphone pinned. Anybody getting a choppy audio besides not choppy here? Okay, audio here. So it might just be you. I'm sorry. Mine is good. I hear you loud and clear. Okay, so most people are hearing me. Everyone, yeah, kind of choppy. It looks like some people have it choppy and some don't. So that doesn't help me much, unfortunately. I have right now. It's telling me the audio is solid on my dashboard here, unfortunately. So I don't know what to fix. Sorry. Shoot. least the video, the recording will be good because it's recording straight off my computer and doesn't have the internet to filter it out. So hopefully that sounds better. All right, I'm going to continue on. So ETCG is the first request. Again, if you have more requests, put it in the thread. Yesterday, we on this one should be getting in the fourth wave. This one is behaving like a diagonal. We broke support for the 3 to be in. Let me see. Yeah, I have this as a diagonal. Just trying to think about what I was thinking earlier this week. Yeah, so good diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and so we should be coming into a B wave top. So this area 3713 to 43 is our B wave top. We'll see how it works in there. We'll see if we get an impulse down. If we top right at the top of that, and so all of these levels are dynamic when you're in a corrective wave. We really should drop. It works really well to hit the channel. Beautiful fib here, anywhere from 2462 to 1984. And I haven't been playing this one like some of you guys, so I'm just gonna probably scale in really tiny already. I might take some off the B wave that I put on this week, little tiny profit, and then I'm scale all the way into the bottom, make sure it's all corrective, and then ride it all the way up to the 70s, 65, 70 in that zone. So that's gonna be a fun one. So what is that? That's like 3x from here to there. Gosh, I get so excited about crypto sometimes. Pretty amazing, right? Sorry, let me save all these charts. Yeah, it's funny when you just stop and go, man, your retirement account could do some crazy things if you just don't overplay it and just play some nice little positions. And then you can play some slow stocks with all the rest of your cash. Honestly, like that's a really low risk way to do the retirement account if you don't get too into the cryptos. You just play them softly with not too much money, and then just make a really high return on what you do play. That's what we saw in 2017, and we're hopefully going to see that again. All right, guys, I don't want to get too excited. I don't want everyone to start risking too much money. Don't do that. I was just saying when we started the service, I say, just put 500 in, and as I said to some people in 2017, I put 1,000 in and it turned into 6 figures. Unfortunately, I paid most of that in taxes, but that's the way cryptos are. That's the way they play. All right, so EOS is next. Okay, so I called the top. I don't like saying I called so strongly, but we had all indications through the method, Elliott wave, that we had a top coming in. We had news event that we knew was coming, and everyone was front running it, and now everyone was selling. So, I think the news was overall good, but it doesn't matter because everyone is front running, and we got everyone in, and then everyone, there was no one left to be in. That's the way markets work. So we got a top. So I like to see a higher B wave on this one. This is really not much of a B wave yet. Ideally seen there. I can't promise that we get that, but I'd ideally like to see that. We can put a little subwave on there. And then we should get the rest of that A wave down. And again, this A wave to the 382 could be our perfect end of the correction. That's why I have this arrow here. So we watch for an impulse. It's not normal in Fibonacci pinball and Elliott wave to see such a shallow wave 2 correction off of a leading diagonal, except in cryptos. For some reason, cryptos do diagonals and put in shallow corrections, where a normal impulse in a crypto creates a deep correction. It's the upside down world if you're a Stranger Things fan. So we'll see if that plays out in EOS. So again, I'll be watching for it here. I'm going to point out, this is not the request, but I'm pointing out again the Bitcoin chart, EOS Bitcoin. It's one of the prettiest, it's still one of the prettiest Elliott wave patterns I've seen in a Bitcoin basis chart. The only thing is it's getting a little dicey in here short term. So we'll see if it holds, but it's kind of an ugly diagonal and it's a very deep A wave. So without a very healthy A wave here, I'm a little bit concerned. And certainly if it passes 00075, then I'm no longer bullish on this chart, or at least we get we may have a B wave top here, and we might see a drop in 2. Now in the zoomed out view, we still had that high B wave. Or X wave. Let's label that, because that again indicates that this is an extremely bullish chart. again, I have yet to see a chart that does this and doesn't move on higher. So as long as this leading diagonal holds, we can say that that this is a strong bull market. But let's see what's our ratio. See, the other thing about this is it's really shallow circle 2, even shallower. It was deep on the USD chart, but not on the Bitcoin chart. So this certainly could all fail and go lower comfortably and still be bullish long term. So again, we'll see if that little area holds in this chart. So, all right. It can even go deeper to 00066 for this larger one too, and that would make this some kind of WXY in here. So different ways this can play out. But again, the USD chart is in a correction, no sign of ending yet, and so is the Bitcoin chart with no sign of ending yet. So we were ready for the top in that one, and certainly is in. All right, QTIM is next. I'm not bullish on this chart at all. I mean, I have this diagonal count, but there's problems with this chart. We have a very low hit on wave 3. That already makes me skeptical. Certainly, if we don't see this candle right here, if this candle continues to move us down, we have a 3-wave top. So as soon as 4 breaks, we have a 3-wave top. So really skeptical on this chart. Maybe it holds over 4 and gets that 5th wave, and we can say, well, maybe this one has a chance. But this is a very low-lying diagonal so far, and so really not a chart I would be personally interested in. So if you're playing it, good luck, but I would be real cautious. All right, so no good, no good, no good. At least, not high probability good, in my point of view. RAP, this has got to be one of the ugliest charts I've ever seen in my life. There's bearish charts, and there's just charts that are just ugly. I have this ABC here, and then this is a reasonable, trying for reasonable 5, and then I have this red 1, 2 for some diagonal, but it's kind of made up because basically this is an ABC top. If we top here, and the 1, 2 is a presumptive of this being in a bull market, and that's not confirmed without an impulse. So, not a chart. It may have moved up nicely off the December low, but the structure is quite poor, and it could still get this 5, and even this 4 is already overlapping with the 1. So this is a sad case. I mean, it's really, really bad. I may be wrong, and this is ABC, and this is a high B wave, and then we get a C. And if it goes lower than the 2, then it's confirmed. But so this is ugly. I would take any analysis I give you as a grain of salt if it's bullish, because honestly, the bearish take on this chart is the most orthodox view, if you ask me. Ether Classic is next. I'm going to ignore questions for now, and then I'll look at questions after we're done. Let me get the Binance chart open. So we completed our leading diagonal. Let's go look at the, I don't have the daily chart on here. It's still low for saying we have a really strong bull market, because we didn't hit the 382 extension off the 1-2. On this chart, I don't have enough data to have this as the 1-2. We had a strong wave 1 in the past through 2017. And so we have a wave 2 bottom here, and which when I switched to Binance, I haven't gotten all the historical data in. But right now, it's this one up is really quite low to say that this one's in a bull market, but it has a chance. And right now, it's it is a clear 5 waves. It's not a bad diagonal. It's structured pretty well, and then we should be in this correction all the way down to 493. Like EOS, the 382 at 651 could be the end of our correction, so we'll have to watch for an impulse there, and see how that goes. But again, normal way this is all setting up, we should see it drop to 493 if it follows the normal pinball guidelines. So, but yeah, no sign of any bullish, impulse out of this correction right now, and we have ETC G in a 4, so it all lines up kind of pretty well for these two ETC based, ETC itself and ETCG to be in a correction. All right, Litecoin. A lot of Litecoin bulls on the, don't want to agree with my analysis, which is fine. It's fine if you don't want to agree. I see most likely we get a little 4 and 5 here for an extension on this 5th wave. This is actually, this is a sign of a top right here. We have a diagonal because you can see this 3rd wave has 3 waves. Whoops. Let me add this in here. So this is a really strong sign of reversal coming. You know, and actually, if we don't get that little 4 and 5 in this, we actually have a B wave top, and we are in this correction. So it's still my perspective, despite the crawl upward, that we see a correction down in the 70s on this one in the coming days. So it's still my perspective. Divergent technicals on, actually, look at that, divergent technicals on the 1 day, which says we have some poor internals going on. So be cautious in this if you're bullish. I know we've had people disagreeing with me and wanting me to have a bullish alt and all that, and I just can't because we have this overlapping nature. We really fell here where we shouldn't have, and it really, what I was seeing probably was actually the diagonal form, but didn't continue up impulsively where it should have, and that's why I went bearish. And the whole market signaled a larger correction, so no change there. But you know, that's the fourth wave, so we still see that 200, the move to 200 in the fifth wave. XLM, I mean, there's a lot of XLM bulls as well. I never like this diagonal, so I've been avoiding this one myself. I also don't like that this this wave one, this 15 cents was a 786 and it went a little bit past. That's the warning of a ABC. But so far we're corrective. I was looking at price action this week. It's pretty clear that we should come down into the 10-cent support region. So and in fact, I have a little triangle here, a little A and then a little B wave triangle. It may be let's see, XY triangle maybe, but I see lower in the 10-cent region before this one takes off in the third wave. I still don't like the chart overall because of that poor quality wave one. I look back at history and not just current action, and it's really a low quality chart if you ask me. But still, it has great skew, and ultimately, I have a fifth wave at 54 cents. If it'll just mine support all the way up, we can look forward to that. Whoops. Bitcoin Cash is next. Let's get that. Again, I also want to remind, a lot of people have asked for micros I just don't have. Well, look at the text on that double top in the MACD. That really indicated, I didn't catch that on the daily. That really indicated our wave 4 down. I wish I'd caught that. Well, it didn't play out until recently. It didn't confirm down. So A wave down, no sign of a 4 top, and then 268 is my expectation on the wave 4. So let's see if I see anything. Yeah, you might get a B wave higher. I think Zach has that as well, if I recall. So we put that in there, and that looks like about 420 at the minimum. I was saying earlier, I just want to remind everyone that a lot of people want micros this week that I just don't have. I mean, remember, I'm promising the micro Ether and Bitcoin as a constant read on the market because I can get, if so much follows Bitcoin and Ether in directionally, at least not necessarily in degree. And so, I try to micro those charts, but a lot of people have asked for micros. I just don't have I don't stare at every chart all day long. I just can't. I stare at Bitcoin and Ether all day long. And so you have to be a little bit reasonable on me for every micro. Sometimes it's just going to tell you I just don't have it. It just isn't productive for me to, if I do every chart like that, I'll be no good on any chart. You got to have some level of focus. And so that's been an agreement for a long time with you guys. And so just be aware of that. Bitcoin Cash is one everyone wanted every micro on, and I just sometimes have it, sometimes don't. If I can read it quick, sure. But if not, then I just don't have a point of view. All right, Monero is next, and it just needs that fourth wave, 75.1. Definitely don't have a micro view. It looks like nice 5 waves to wave 3. Looks like a good rollover in the text, and so I have 70.51 as ideal for wave 4, and I have a 63.87 would be sort of D-Day level. If it's below that, it's a failure, and I have no sign of that it started in wave 5, so we're in that wave 4 right now. Dent is next, and this one may be back from the dead, but we need that fifth wave. So the fifth wave is up at 0.003 ideally. I mean, at least we need to get a pop over 0.00265. So right now it is 3 waves, ABC, but it's trying for that fifth. So as long as we hold 0.013, let's put that support box on there. Then we can look forward to other things from it, but until it gets that, it's still 3 waves. So I'm not going to be outright bullish until we see that. I hope so, because I have a lot of it sitting in my Ether wallet that I totally forgot about. So, but until it gets there, it's in fact, I'm going to sell all if I get to 0.013 because there is some money there. no interested in this. Not interested in this below 0.013 at all. Theta, we're in a correction. We're A, B, and C. This one's teased me too many times. Right now, I see it aiming straight at that 0.019. That would be ideal. It's getting quite messy in there. We have no sign of takeoff yet. Even though it teased me a couple of times, I thought this B wave was going to accelerate, and then it broke down. So I might call it another swing trade at the 0.09. That previous one never hit. It never got low enough to for me to want to put it on the tables, but I'll call a swing trade if I'm awake and alert. So let's see. Next one is Verge. No change there. Still bearish. Some of you guys are so patient with Verge, but I have no patience with it. I think the team is terrible. I think the chart is bad too. So, and I regret ever saying 13 was in play, although 13 still is in play if it can get off the ground daily. Yeah, I mean, still like actually we have 175 out here in the distance. Will ever get there? That's the question. Because right now, nothing bullish about this. Again, unhealthy diagonal. We have 5 waves down. Where the whole market's in correction, so I'm still looking for at least a hit of that long-term box, which is roughly around 0.04 here. Yeah, so not much to say there. I mean, I've been bearish on this pattern since December. I think pretty consistently. Well, it probably looked bullish here and then it failed. So no go there. Sorry. Holo hot is next. Let's see if I have good data. Let's see. Is this is not up to date? Let me see if I have it. I can look at TradingView real quick if I don't. No. All right, we'll look at TradingView and see if I can give you anything. I'll post a chart later if I can get it. So pretty. We might have 5 waves off this low. All right, so what I'll do is it's possible we may be in a wave 2 down. It's not pretty though. It's actually missing a wave in the third, unless that's truncated. Yeah, it's not a great chart. All right, I'll do this. I'll put this data in Binance. It may be in a wave 2. It looks like it's an ABC chart in my opinion though. Might even be an ABC and a larger C, but so I don't have a high probability view on this, but I'll put it in a new set of data into MotiveWave and post a chart. It's still not a chart I like because there's problems in here with this missing waves, so it makes my analysis low probability, which again I like to keep my mouth shut when that happens. Next is TRX. I'm gonna remind that I have no short-term point of view right now because this one is particularly sloppy. I've moved to a diagonal view of it. Given that slop, it's not impulsive off the wave 2. So what I could say is that if it can get through all of this ABC crap, the target for wave 3 is let's see, 10.5, and eventually we should see 15 cents to 17 cents for wave 5. So, but we're going to be in this ABC, locked in this ABC. Typically you get an A wave up to the 618, 786 in a diagonal. So that's here. So until we accelerate through or get to a B and set up impulsively, I don't expect this chart to clean up. It's going to be choppy through here, and I'm not going to have a real. I'm going to be changing the structure here constantly because that's just the nature of. You can see how gorpy all of the candles are. It's a mess. So bear with it for now. I've lost my personal desire to be in this. I have some, but it's just not reliable enough to be sitting with all that capital in there. Flow, another annoying one, and I may even sell it. It's coming back down in the lower two, so you can see it's dipped right over in another B wave. I've cleaned up my chart, so I still have a bullish view long term, but I think I'm going to sell actually and deploy that capital elsewhere because this is just getting arduous, painful. So two can be, let's see, we can, yeah, ideally we hold 0.069, which is almost there, I guess. 0.0598 would be invalidation, and then we're into the larger two back here. So, which is just trouble. I mean, going that low here, and we can even keep going lower. So I'm not liking this one short term. We've hit that acceleration point, which is block is, we just rejected right off of it multiple times, constantly over many days. And so we're just not ready for the bullish case on this one, unfortunately. Theta was next. We already covered that. BNB. Again, this one, we have still no real good landmark on this chart. I like the idea of the fifth happening at the 618 extension, which on the daily, which is $61. I still like that, and that would be extension through this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if we're below 1398, then we're already in a larger wave 2, and we topped in wave 5, which is reasonable, but it was between, you can see how far in between the larger fibs on the daily. So I'd really like to see this one climb to 61, but I don't have a micro view what's going on in here because we've had no real landmark here in terms of a really deep correction. The best candidate for 4 is right there at what is this? This is right at 1581, but it's really not very certain because it wasn't very deep either. So I still like 61 hitting, but if we go below 14, then we're in wave 2 and we should go down to 11. So those are our levels. I like we still have a 3-wave correction here down to 2046 really comfortably before rallying up in the 5th wave. Mona, I looked at my long-term chart here. I'm a little bit troubled. I have to investigate data, but if you look at, let's see, because I redid data. And if you look at the weekly, we have an ABC back here, which is disconcerting because that means this can be a B wave here. So this is, again, when chart moves in 3s, which this one is one of those, I don't play them. I don't care how aggressively they're moving, but there's a chance we do this in red. You just have to be aware. And I had a diagonal on my trading view, but was missing. Apparently, maybe missing some data. And then if we look locally, we can still get a 5th wave in the C wave, but we've been teasing support. Data's not very good. So we've been teasing support and very directly, and this was a B wave spike because it was structured in 3 waves. So it needs a stick save right now. Below 191, then I don't know what's exactly in play here because it's broken even the C wave impulse. And we may have some kind of WXY top. So just be careful with it if you're in it. So I don't have a very strong point of view if it breaks 191. If it can hold over 191, then I see at least 525 in play, potentially even 642. And then we should have a deep correction after that, given the nature of this chart. At least retrace half of this move here lower. Next one is ADA. So this one I moved to the full diagonal because we've sagged, broken down. We have a 3-wave top off the December low confirmed already. Well, it's not confirmed, but it just looks that way because this is in correction now, and it should have held that A wave for a wave 4, and now it's looking like it won't. So we can do a WXY in here. I'm no longer going to play this chart at all until it has clear impulses. Not interested in playing in a diagonal and 3 waves mess personally, unless it's Bitcoin and I'm watching like a 5-minute chart. I'm not going to be watching this one a 5-minute chart. So I expect a correction right now to 0.056 until something else shows 0.056 to 0.05 in this B wave. And then again, if it shows a clear C wave setup for higher, meaning a good impulse, then I might be interested in it. But and that could get us to 42 cents. But Right now we are in a correction and we are in a large diagonal most likely, and I'm really not interested because that's just will show so many surprises. Wax, I have not looked at this one in a long time. It's looking like it might be this diagonal playing out. So 3 waves back here, not impulsive. Structure is all quite poor. So I'll give you, if this is a top in a diagonal, which again, this has got poor structure and liquidity issues. So I don't fully trust that this is a diagonal, but I'll give you support and a target if it is, and it's not something I would touch. Because the quality of this action is quite poor, and it's off of a diagonal, also off of an all-time low is never a good happy time to trade something. But if this is the top of a diagonal, we would see this most likely. So it looks like 74 cents would be the top of the next degree if this is going to prove out. But again, all-time low, then a diagonal, not a high probability chart. So, but here it is right there. All right, and that's the last request. Let's see if there's any questions. EOS Pro, again, I covered EOS. Tron I covered as well. I'll do Pro. But again, please don't put them in the question in the future. I really ask that you don't do that, so that people can ask questions. So Pro, we have a WXY top, and then I don't know what this is, so sideways. It could do something. It could do something like this, but honestly, I wouldn't be bullish about this chart. It's pretty poor quality. So it could. I'll give you a target for C, but this chart's looking sick. So it could potentially get up to 065, but I'm not buying it. That's just a C wave target. That's reasonable off this structure, but not something I have faith in. All right. Let's see. So I covered Tron, covered EOS. Anything else? Any other questions? Could that B wave overthrow? Could that B wave triangle have overthrow on the E? I don't know which chart you're talking about. If you want to put that in there, I can look at it. That was triple. I don't know if you want to clarify which chart you're talking about. Any other questions on anything else before we sign off? I mean, that's where we're at. Let's see. BTC. No, you don't get overthrow of. No, you don't get overthrow of E. You don't want to have any overthrow in a triangle at all. It's not like a diagonal. Diagonals you can get overthrow. If I understand what you're saying, I don't think we have any triangle in Bitcoin at all. We have some kind of standard ABC. Yeah, Bittrex delisted F Pro. I saw that you posted that earlier. It's fine. Yeah, that one. I mean, you could trade those on, if you need to get out of it. You can trade those on a DEX. You can trade any Ether coin on a DEX, so it doesn't matter if they're delisted. Of course, liquidity is an issue, but Binance will cover most of these on their chart. I assume they still have Pro on their exchange as well, but I could be wrong. But you can trade them on DEX. That's the nice thing about Ether tokens is delisting is sort of, who cares? Well, I guess the liquidity is an issue, but okay. Any other questions? Yeah. So on triangles, you never want to see the E wave pass either the B or the D, depending on the extension. So it's just I'm not aware of anyone saying a valid triangle has overthrow. You have another form if you have the E wave past either the B or the D. Well, past the D. See, past the B. Sorry. All right. I'm going to sign off, guys. Thanks for attending, and we'll see you guys on the board. I will work on hot data and see if I can have a point of view on it. But it looks like a low probability chart. I'll do my best with it. All right, guys. Talk to you later.